Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So tonight we're going to talk about the TV series From that's on Epix, and it's season 1, episode 8, Broken Windows, Open Doors. Now, in the wake of another death, Boyd questions his decision to leave. Kennedy steps up and embraces his new role. Okay. Jim rallies the town together, and they talk about the idea of him building a tower on top of the colony house. Fatima urges Ellis to make amends with his father before it's too late. Now, this is a really good series, and it's a shame that we only get in 10 episodes. But I want to ask you guys a question. Will 10 episodes be enough to bring everything all together and people go home? Or are we going to get a season 2? So I think the last episode is going to determine what happens next, okay? And who's going to be alive and who's going to not be with us anymore. So let's just go ahead and get into it. Now, this episode, it answered some questions for me about Boyd, okay? This is all about Boyd's flashback, and it's kind of painful, all right? We get to see his late wife, Abby. We get to see him and Ellis and Abby all acting together as a family, being happy and all that kind of stuff. So it takes us in a life where Boyd was happier and he was retiring from the military. He wanted his daggone boat and she got him his boat. Ellis seemed a lot happier because it was just the three of them and it was together, right? Okay, so we get a chance to see what really happened. And it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. And it makes you wonder, whatever that was in Sarah's mind and it was writing on her skin, was it that same entity that got to Abby? Okay. So I'm just glad that it sheds the light on how the family got there and the story behind the talisman. Okay, because Boyd is the one that found the talisman. Now, when it shows Boyd and his family driving, and they came across this big tree in the road, all right? And then, we see how he got to town. You see all these houses, these empty houses. He's like, where's the people? And then, bam, Father Khatri gets out, and he's like, listen, I need you to come with me. They were kind of apprehensive at first, but when they heard those deadly noises of those things, they quickly got, and then they followed Father Khatri. And now, this is where we see, they meet Father Khatri and Donna. And it was 2 other people down in the basement with them as well. So now we see how they met, and we see how the town was living, because after those things passed and after the day passed, they was coming up from underneath the ground. And when Boyd came up, he saw other people come up as well. All right. Okay, so now it's also showing how Boyd, he kicks in and he knows, okay, there's no way out. This is what's going on. So I see why he becomes the sheriff. Okay, I see why Boyd is the sheriff, because he comes in and he just say, listen, we got to do this. We got to have a solution. But as for Abby, I think she's at a state where she knows there's no way out, and she doesn't, and the lines of reality and a nightmare are blurred for her. And I think the entity is doing that to her. The sad thing about this is that she goes on a killing spree. Okay. And, because her husband was out there all night in the woods. And it was no way he could survive. But she didn't get a chance to listen to him about the talisman. She was just out there killing everybody. So when she came to Donna, she had the gun pointed at Donna. She was like, we're going to wake up. This is a nightmare. You're going to wake everybody up. She doesn't know reality from the nightmare that's going on. Okay. And I think that entity has a lot to do with that. So Boyd drops the talisman. He takes his gun out. He's trying to talk some sense to her. And then here comes her son running around the corner, but their son running around the corner. She turns around with her gun pointed, and his fatherly instincts kick in and he kills his wife. And that's when Ellis had an issue with his father at that moment. So she didn't die because of those things out there. She died because her husband shot her, but he shot her to save their son because she was out of her mind and she had the gun pointed towards him, and I think she would have shot him. I do. I really think that she would have shot her son because she was already losing it. So now he's against his father. And this was pretty much the episode that we got. Okay. This is pretty much what we got. Now, the colony house is in a bad shape. Okay, it's in bad shape. The colony house is in bad shape. So Donna is up there and she's trying to get all those bodies from off the ground. But why no one is questioning how did they get in? See, it's like they left out some stuff, and I'm hoping that in the next episode, somebody would ask that question. How did they get in there? Because if they was doing well all this time, keeping them out, it didn't dawn on them, well, hey, how did we get here? Who did this? You get what I'm saying? So it doesn't touch on that. Now, where is Victor? Victor is off into the woods. We don't see him this whole episode. We hear Julie talk about him, which is Tabitha and Jim's, their daughter. And she tells her mom and dad about, what happened that night, and that Victor took her to the woods and told her to go into the tree hole, and he probably went into one and went somewhere else. I'm just going to leave it at that. And then she came out on the other side into a basement or a cellar. And so her little brother said, hey, you was at the faraway tree, because Victor told him that's what it was. So, that's where we at. Now, Julie is starting to lose her mind a bit. She's starting to want. I understand she's been through a lot the night before. She's been through a lot. But sometimes she can get on my nerve. Okay? She can. And I understand she's going through something because she's there and she doesn't know what to do. This is not normal for her, or whatever the case may be. But she's not the only one going through this. This town is taking a toll on everybody. Okay? So, but I understand what she went through that night. I do. Now, back to Boyd. Boyd has Sarah. Okay? But before we get deep into that, Boyd went to his son at the clinic, and because he was getting his arm treated. And so he told his son, they had a conversation. And so when he left, Fatima told Ellis, listen, you need to go follow him and find him, talk to him before, you don't have a chance. So that's what Ellis did. So Ellis was following his father. And when he got midway into the woods, he called out to his father. And now the house is right there. Now he told Sarah to stay in there and don't move, don't do nothing. What she does, she comes out. So now Ellis sees her, but I'm glad they had a moment, a father and son moment. They needed that. That needed to happen. Okay? So now here's the trust thing that comes in. Boyd asks Ellis to trust him because Ellis sees Sarah. She's supposed to be dead because of the thing that she did. She's supposed to be in that guillotine and be the next one gone. But because Father Castree hid her in his basement, and she was getting those messages and she was telling him about it, he was trying to use her to get away out of there, which I still don't trust her at all. I do not trust Sarah at all. But we're going to see how this all works out. And I hope we don't lose Boyd. I really don't. I hope we don't lose Boyd. So Ellis sees her and he's getting kind of upset, right? Because he's like, okay, what is she doing here? Why is she still alive? And all that kind of stuff. I would have asked those same questions. So he said, trust me, she's going to help me get away for all of us to go home. So Boyd is pleading with his son and asking him, please just trust me. Don't say anything, just trust me. And so his son said, okay. So he goes back to town. So now him and Sarah is on their journey to find out what is out there in those woods and how they can get home. I have a strange feeling these things that's contacting Sarah is not really trying to tell her anything for anyone to go home. Okay, so pretty much nothing really major happened in this episode except the backstory that we all needed about Boyd. Okay, Father Catry told him about what happened when he got there. So now we know about Boyd. I was mainly wanting to know about Boyd. We know about Victor, and all the other stuff. I really want to know about Boyd, and I'm glad we got that. So now, here's the thing. Who do you think they're going to ever make it back home? I want to say yes, but also I'm leaning towards no. I think Boyd is a great leader, but I think these things that is contacting Sarah, I think they are just using her to make it seem like, hey, we're going to get, she's the answer to lead them home when she's really not. I think they're just using Sarah. For some reason, that's what I think. And I just don't think in this season they're gonna make it home. If they do, I'll be happy. But I just don't think in this season they're going to make it home. Something is gonna happen, and they're not gonna make it home. Okay, so Kenny, let's talk about Kenny real quick. Kenny, he's under the sheriff. The sheriff is the sheriff, and he's deputy or something like that. But Boyd wants him to get it together and be a leader, and he does. Okay, because when Boyd comes back and does his little thing and say, enough, I'm not gonna tell you nothing, and Kenny was like, oh no, you gonna listen to me. He put his foot down. Surprised Donna and Boyd. I was like, okay, Kenny, I see you. That's right. Show him what you can do. And I'm so glad that Kenny is being a leader. He's stepping up to the plate. I'm so happy about that. So, and I think he's going to do great with the community because he says no more colony houses. No more, we are now a community. And he's going to do great. I think that this is what the community wants to see from Kenny is him stepping up. Because now Boyd is out on that journey, they're going to need somebody else to kick in. And Jade, I wish Jade stopped being an asshole. He really getting on my nerve. I understand he got this idea in his head, and I do think they might get something if they keep at it. But he got to stop being an asshole, and he need to tell somebody what he keeps seeing. Because if he keep having those little what you call those visions, and then he freaks out, nobody's not going to be around him. He's the one that thought that whole place was an escape room. Okay? It is not. But I think Jim, Jade, Boyd, Kenny, I think if they all come together, even that guy from the colony house that was giving Jade that potato liquor, I think if they add him to it, I think all 5 of those men could get something going with a broadcast or come together and try to find a way home. But I think these things that are out there that's tricking Sarah, we're going to say they tricking her for right now. I think those things that's tricking Sarah, they're not being truthful, and I don't think that she's the way home. But Victor might find a way home. So I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out who's going to find a way home. But I don't think it's happening in this season. I don't think it's happening in this season. Now, I hope we get a season 2 so that we can see how long they're going to, take it. But we got 2 more episodes to go, and I just don't see anyone going home right now. But it's still time. So episode 9 is going to be called Into the Woods. Boyd and Sarah journey deeper into the forest than Boyd has ever gone, encountering new and terrifying mysteries. Jim's confidence in the radio tower begins to wane, and unexpected tragedy causes Donna to unravel. Kenny and Christy share a moment. So yes, I hope Kenny and Christy do get it together, because I think they make a nice little couple. But we'll see. We will see. So that's for episode 9. I don't know what's going to happen. It's intense. It's really intense. But we just have to wait and see. So that's it. That's all I have about episode 8 right now. So you guys let me know in the comment section. Do you think they're going to find their way home in this season? Or it's going to take the next season for them to find their way home? Do you think these things are being truthful to Sarah, causing her to have these visions and just writing on her skin in hope, and just to have hope? Or do you think she really is the key to getting out of there? What do you think? And where do you think Victor went? I would like to know, where is Victor? Because he was not in this episode. But anyway, you guys, have a good one, and I'll talk to you later.